Alright, so before we conclude this video, we do have to look at one more thing, which is adjusting your corrections. Whenever you put in a new servo, it may be off compared to the other servos, and therefore we need to put in a new corrections value. So I do have the software here, but before we do that, let's look at this one more time. You'll notice that as I turn this around, this servo, this finger and this finger are out of alignment with the other fingers, and that's because those are both on servo number 4 that we just replaced. So we'll use the corrections utility to get those back even and flush. Alright, so now focusing back on the software. In the software, you go to your utilities menu and you go to servo corrections, and you find servo number 4 in our case, or if you recall, it was the 4th string from the bottom, frets 1 and 2 that were causing us trouble. They're now at a 0 value, so I will make a change to that value, and usually I go in increments of 0.05, and I'm afraid that there is no clear indication of whether you go positive or negative, so it is trial and error a little bit, but once you realize which way it's going, you can make adjustments after the first one. So I've changed servo number 4 to adjust at 0.05. It copies that value across the open value, the mute value, the left value, and the right value, and that's okay. You want those to all be equal. So now I hit the X, and when I hit the X, it'll save all those values to close out that dialog box, and then we can go to a chord, and we can make sure that the chord mode is on. We can make sure that the pedal is plugged in. In this case, I think we have a wireless foot pedal, and we do. And the wireless foot pedal is now set for an on-off mode rather than a momentary mode. So let me fix that. There we go. Now it's momentary. And actually you can see after I made that adjustment, now the servo actually I think is a little bit worse, so we have to go negative on this one. So I'll change it to a negative value, going back to the utilities, servo corrections, and change this 0.05 to a negative 0.05, and then I tab out of that, and it's saved. As soon as you make a change on the first value, all the rest of them are updated as well. Click the X to close, go back to chords, press the pedal, and see if that adjusts again. So watch this servo. It did go down a little bit, so we're heading in the right direction, but it is not yet all the way flush. So you can see that there, it is still sticking up a little bit right here. Alright, so let's make one more update, and I'm going to go another utilities, servo corrections. For number 4, I'm going to go to 0.1, negative 0.1. So up another 0.1. Tab. And we'll see what that does. Hit X to save it, and then chords, hit the pedal, on and off. And it's looking pretty good now. It is very flush with the other 3 that are there. If I look down, I can see that it's pretty flush across all of them. And I think that's pretty good to start. When we get it back on the guitar, if there are any oops. Let me try to focus on that so that you can see it. I think you can get the idea. Alright. If there are any of the fingers that are touching the strings, you can use that same approach for each of the servo corrections to correct the balance on the fingers.